Welcome to Vision to Venture. I'm Eddie, and I'm here to uncover the realities of scaling and building a tech startup. Each week, I speak to leaders within the tech space with their insights and advice on how to found, fund, and frame a tech startup. So make sure to follow and subscribe to never miss an episode. Hello and welcome to Vision to Venture. Today we're joined by Remi Delanghe, an AI lead at In the Pocket, one of Europe's top digital product studios. With a wealth of experience in AI and machine learning, Remi's leads a team that helps clients successfully adopt these transformative technologies. In this episode, we'll discuss the challenges of AI adoption, the internal practices that support effective AI development, and the key questions that guide product development. Hello, Remi. How are you doing today? How are things?
Hey Eddie, nice to meet you.
Well,
Everything's doing good.
thanks for joining us on Vision to Venture. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Um, so, to start off with, could you just give us a bit of insight into your role at In the Pocket and what you guys do?
Yeah. I'm AI lead at In the Pocket. We are a digital product studio in Europe. Digital product studio means that everything that has to do with digital, we help organizations achieve. It can be creating a website, a web platform, an application, a cloud platform, everything where we are interacting users together with digital ecosystem. That's where we help. And as we already exist for over 14 years, have a lot of experience. We also move beyond the technology and help on a strategic level organizations navigate the digital landscape. So we are able to create a strategy as well as execute a strategy together with the company. Now AI is already a big thing for some time. Also in the pocket, we've been doing it for over 7 years, but especially in the last 2 years, we do see that AI comes to the forefront of a lot of these digital products. So as we also specialize in interacting with users and creating top-notch experiences, AI now also comes to the forefront and helps to deliver those top-notch experiences to users.
So what would you say are some of the most common challenges you face when trying to get clients to adopt AI solutions?
We often create applications which our client aren't directly using, but our clients are actually creating those for their own users, for their own clientele. And it's always difficult to, like with everything in digital, difficult to estimate like what are, of course, one of which is just doing a lot of testing, a lot of user testing, a lot of understanding the customer and where can it actually create value within their customer journey. And so that is often one of the first things that we try to connect with the client about. Do you actually know the users of the application we're starting to build, and are we able to really connect with those users and create the value that they are seeking from your products?
Do you ever have it when in times when you had a client and whatever they've obviously asked you to do, but you just haven't really connected with that client on like a level where you feel like it's gonna work? Does that ever happen? Like if they ask you to do something, but it's just not something that you as a company would want to do for people, does that ever come up?
Yeah, I think especially again in the last 2 years, we know a lot of organizations, especially like the bigger ones, they tend to look at AI as it's ChatGPT or it's a Claude, and they want to have that of themselves and exist something of themselves. And
Mm.
it's kind of fun. You're starting to get these type of stereotypes of AI solutions, which really don't fit in a lot of the uh, client or a lot of the user business like interactions that you will have. So a chatbot is not the only solution, for instance, to help in customer
Mm.
support or to help in summarizing your communications with your clients or giving feedback to your clients. And so or to your user, I mean. And so these stereotypes and trying to break those, that's a big part of getting close to the client and understanding where we can bring that value in bringing AI to their products.
So how would you say that you assess a client's readiness for AI adoption before even starting a project?
Assessing it is basically on two levels. On the one hand, you have the technological one, which is how mature are they as a company? Do they have their data governance in place, both on an infrastructure level, but also as an organization? Do they understand what data is and how to use it? Often, not for all AI use cases, you need it in order, but for most, if you really want to scale, you want to have that locked in. But on the other hand, it's also part really this mentality of being able to adopt AI and understand that it can be used for qualitative, like to improve quality of existing processes or efficiency. And we do truly believe that every organization has the potential to start with AI, but not at different levels. And if we feel that there is less maturity, because either on a technology level we're not there yet, that the infrastructure isn't set up, or we don't feel that there is support from the whole organization, we tend to start smaller use cases, smaller impacts, smaller teams, and really see these as like hero teams to showcase what we can have as an impact and be an example for other teams or other projects within that organization.
Okay, so there's quite a lot that would go into it before you even take on a new project then. Um, which I guess is I mean, I never thought it wouldn't be. I feel like if with any clients, I feel like you need to sort of obviously do all of those checks to make sure that it's a project that you should take on, right? Before you even like spend however long it takes to actually complete that project and put all those hours in. Want to make sure it's worth your while, I guess. Um, and so, how do you approach clients who are like hesitant or skeptical about integrating AI into their existing processes?
Yeah, I think we really try to lean a bit in and to into that skepticism. If they are
Mm.
skeptical about it, there's probably a reason behind it. Either this because they had bad experience in the past of implementing AI solutions, maybe with a different provider or a different partner, or they heard something within their sector, a different organization in their sector where it went wrong. So there is a reason always behind that. And so what we first do is we want to understand that reason and try to find a solution to this. This might be a bit of change management, understanding or teaching about what are the limitations of the technology, where can it actually shine, and also help people use it. There are some really interesting numbers on usage of AI solutions and the ability of people to see more opportunities in using generative AI in their daily processes. And I do think this also scales within product development, that if you understand how the technology works, what it can do. If you see examples, then you also start to be creative on how you can implement it in your own setting. So if we see people are skeptical about it, we really try to understand why they're skeptical, try to find ways to solve the issues that they have with it. And then secondly, really inspire and have them understand that we can actually create value with these solutions. And it doesn't always have to be a doom scenario when it goes wrong. And a great concrete way where like how we really in a practical way try to solve this is we often look at the problem in three steps. The first one is really defining the problem. For who are you solving an issue, why are you solving it, and what do you hope to achieve about it. Then make that process very concrete. What data do we need? Why do we need the data? What kind of information do you want to extract from it? What are the decisions you want to take based on that data, right? What are like the insights that we want to take out of it? And then finally, what are the actions that we want to enable with that use case? Like I didn't say ChatGPT, I didn't say LLMs, I didn't say a regression model or neural networks. I was really thinking about use case from data to action when talking about explaining the flow from data to action. And then in the third step, we think about how do we validate such a solution, and it can be both qualitative. Are we doing this for marketing purposes? Are we doing this because we think it might have a big impact? But also very concrete. What would happen if something goes wrong? Does the company go bankrupt, or is it just half an hour lost of just half an hour? And half an hour does it can cost a lot, of course, but there is also that cost of when it goes wrong and the value when it goes right, and then you can really start making the business case of such a solution. So if really people are skeptical, we do have some frameworks in place in order to at least give some more insight into what a good AI solution might look like.
Obviously, you've just mentioning obviously the use of like LLMs and ChatGPT and things like that. Do you use these tools when working on projects for clients? Like, what are the key sort of areas of AI that you as a company use when you're obviously developing these products for your clients?
Yeah, yeah, we do use them a lot. I would even say that it's always the first solution we go to when trying to solve an AI challenge, especially when it's NLP or when there are simple vision tasks involved.
Mhm.
The reason why is that where before we might have needed 2 weeks upfront in order to train an AI solution and get like these first results, we can often do this already in the span of a day or a day and a half. And what we have seen is that that really helps in order to get the clients and especially the skeptical clients on board and have them see what our possibilities are, have them also understand where it goes wrong, and have them give feedback on the existing working solution. So by going, as we would call LLM first, it enables us to really start an iterative process of developing an AI solution. So LLMs do go into that, and I'm now saying it as if that's the first time we use it when it's in interacting with a client, but also in our back offices we use it a lot when we, for instance, do user interviews. These are also recorded, these are summarized and transcribed in order to be able to quickly get those insights out of. Or when we want to do ad hoc analysis of qualitative input we get from user reviews on, for instance, the App Store, that's also something where we use LLMs in order to identify if it's about a certain onboarding, a certain flow, like onboarding, or maybe a payment flow in a banking app. So it really enables us to quickly and ad hoc do these qualitative analysis where before we would need maybe hours or days in order to do that analysis. We can now do in a couple of minutes or seconds even.
How do you ensure that your AI products remain customer centric during the development process? Is that a like tedious task? Is that how does that happen?
It's I feel like I'm repeating myself a bit, but it always comes back to yeah, not thinking of the technology first, but really thinking about that full process that we're helping a user with, and looking into that flow and seeing where can AI actually be like an added value in that process. If you do
Mhm.
this, then you'll always at least make sure that you are helping a user completing a task that they're doing. That's like, I guess, the functional part of it. On top of that, we also invest a lot of time into understanding the design of AI, or the UX that helps us better interact with AI. It already starts on the onboarding flow, making sure that when people interact with an AI agent, they know it's not a real human, if it's a chatbot, or that they know that they are interacting with something probabilistic, something that can make mistakes. We know that these types of systems, they can also be quite slow. So making sure that the interactions with the user are always interactive, that they feel that there is still something going on under the hood, is also part of that design system.
So when it comes to obviously developing AI products for your clients, are there any kind of like key questions that you would have to ask your clients to ensure that the product meets their needs?
Again, there is the separation between the client and their own users, and I think one of the first questions we always ask is, will this be an internal tool that we're building or something that we expose to the end user? Um, because that also has a lot of impact on the type of quality assurance that we want to do on that product. If it's an internal user, we can assume, make a couple of assumptions about it not being jailbroken, for instance. So those are guardrails which we can at least lessen to a certain extent, and we can also assume that there is some education, like some education that happens around the tool. What can you do with it? What are the limitations of it? If we expose it towards their own clients, so the users of all the clients that we make the products for, the scope of the project can become much bigger, and it's really more
Mhm.
about maintaining that quality. It's more about ensuring that the design is really top notch, that the UX is top notch, and we can't assume that people start learning a full new tool or like a full new interaction pattern for just this one app or this one interaction. So that is one big thing which influences a lot of that process. Um, Other than that, it's maybe more kind of a strategic question, but we also always like to understand the reason why they are building this instead of taking a solution off the shelf. There are many co-pilots or many chatbots which are popping up in the ecosystem right now, and we are quite sure that a lot of them will also disappear again. So understanding like what's the right for these companies to exist within this space and actually have like and their own platform as a chat interface, for instance, that is an important question to ask. And there are also other options like being, for instance, a plugin within such a platform on ChatGPT or on Claude, or being a data set which is used under the hood in order to give more qualitative answers. And we do have those discussions which clients in trying to really understand what makes them able to succeed in such a space, or if it would make more sense if they would only use this platform in order to expose their existing services as a service to their the users of that platform.
Can you discuss the importance of iterative development in AI products and how you implement this in practice?
If we think of In the Pocket, we are we already exist 14 years. We like the name In the Pocket as well comes from the fact that we started building apps which fit in your pockets. That
I
was
was
14
curious
years.
about that.
Yeah, 14 years
Yeah,
ago, that was that was kind of the joke, I guess, or at least the genesis of the
clever.
company.
Yeah.
But at that time, like what made us successful was the fact that it was a fully new technology, and you really, if something is new, if people don't understand how to design or create products about it, uh, in the Pocket as well, we didn't know what you do. Well, you start experimenting, and that's experimenting, learning from your experiments, and getting that feedback back into the development team. That's essential in order to understand or to create actually meaningful and actually useful products. And so I think today we, in terms of mobile, we have shifted from experimenting on a technical level, where it's an engineering team who create new updates from a mobile app or a website, to
Yeah.
more like a design iteration. We use tools like Figma, for instance, in order to iterate on a design, make it clickable out of it, test that. And actually, the engineering team, I'm not saying we are doing waterfall, but if you would have a waterfall process where after designs are finished, we implemented everything, there wouldn't be a lot of big surprises there, right? What we do see is with AI, that's not the same thing, as it's quite a new technology which both designers, users, and business doesn't understand yet. What are the capabilities? Where does it fail? And how can we adapt to the limitations of the technology? That engineering team comes back into the picture, and creating these prototypes, creating these things which can be tested by users, and they actually get relevant feedback from these probabilistic systems, is part of that development process. So every time that today, I think currently I'm managing a couple of like 4 or 5 projects, and in each of these projects we both have a part development, a part design, but also from a client side, a couple of user testers and business people who do continuously iterate or help improve that product with feedback, which directly gets incorporated by the technical team. So being able to have that iterative process really helps us to understand how to better make these systems learn.
And this is an interesting one that I'm very curious about. Obviously, being the team lead, I'm sure you have to go through this. What sort of key skills do you look for when you're hiring for your AI team? But more, especially sort of in the context of product management and development.
It's a really good question because it has evolved as well over the last couple of years.
Really?
Yeah. I think when we started AI at in the pocket, so again 7 years ago, we were convinced that it was all about data science skills and pure ML skills. So that's also what we had. We had a separate team in our organization. So today we are with 200. I think when we started the AI team, we were half the size, so 100, and we had a small team of experts in the field of AI and data science,
Mhm.
which really had their own set of projects focused on creating highly performant ML applications. What we do see is that in the end, if you really want to make impact in the digital products, you do need to make sure to take the user into account and understand how the limitations of an ML solution impacts how a user experiences the results, and also how the way that people interact with your ML application like influences the way that you get feedback from it and that you can learn from it, so that it doesn't exist in a vacuum. And so over time we do see that shifts. Initially there was a shift which was adding in more roles. Instead of just having machine learning engineers and data scientists in these projects, we really had strategists, designers coming in to help bridge that gap between product and AI. But today, and that's also the team that we've built right now. They are first and foremost experts in the field. They know what technologies are there and how to apply them and how to build them. But they're also able to interact with clients, get feedback from it, are flexible and open to and understand how to get that feedback back in the model. And I think
Mm.
I mean, it seems like an obvious one, but it's certainly not an obvious one when searching for good talents. Is that you need people who are both able to translate this technical knowledge and technical jargon, which there is a lot of, back to people who can give feedback on the product side, which is often a language of value, a language of issues they're having, a language of quality, and then making the translation again from that feedback back into the technical skill set that they have in order to improve on that. And there is always a mistranslation, because if people will always want to have 100% accuracy, which you can't achieve, but you will have a set of tools, technical tools, in order to get maybe from a 90 to a 95, or
Yeah.
to better understand like which, if a user says it needs to be 100%, that actually means for certain categories we can't make mistakes, for others we can. And having that intuition, being able to translate it in two ways, and being able to deal with the fact that there will always be things lost in translation or mistranslations because of the limitations of these two worlds we live in. That is really, I think, what makes us today successful and able to iterate so quickly on the products that we built.
And so in your AI team, do you have to, or have you hired like people that just have an array of skill sets? So have you got people that are like obviously experts with LLMs, but then you've got other people that are experts in another area of generative AI or just machine learning or deep learning in general? Have you got, is it like, or is it a team of like experts that can all do the same thing, but there's just so many because you're all working on the same project? Like how's this sort of, how does it work in a company like this one?
It depends on the type of project. We have a couple of big projects where we do have the skill set of the whole company, which is a skill
Mm.
of digital product development. And there we really are one person in a team of 10 or 15 people who have that specific expertise on, for instance, LLM developments. And there, like, I mean, you don't need to reinvent the wheel or retrain from scratch. Those are people who are really able to take yeah, just use frameworks, use APIs in order to create the quality interactions based on these LLM applications. Often what we see is that when we go deeper to do the pure machine learning or data science tasks, then the teams also become smaller. Often those people in our team don't they need the skills themselves in order to interact with the client, get the feedback, because they're also the only people who understand and able to translate the technical knowledge that they have to the problem specific setting that the client has, and then able to translate that back into what data can we use to build those models and to iterate on the quality of that model.
Amazing. And just lastly, to wrap this pod up, you have a generative AI community which has grown to an incredible 2,000 participants. What made you decide to start this, and what impact has it made to those around you?
That's a funny story, or at least it just happened at random.
Seriously.
Yeah, imagine I think the group is now close to 2 years old. So
Yeah.
2 years ago, we had a lot of buzz. I think GPT-4 just came out, or like we knew something was coming. So like the whole generative AI movement was booming. I think DALL-E 3
Yeah.
also dropped, or at least DALL-E 2, and we saw that acceleration in the space of new models coming up. And we just felt that within Flanders there wasn't really like a place to talk about this and to share this. We do have a culture of meetups in Flanders, but none really about generative AI. Um, so in that vacuum, just started it up. It already boomed from our first session, and we just kept iterating on it. And I think what helps is that we do two things. One is we don't have a weekly or a monthly meetup. We really have one meetup every 3 or 4 months, which makes sure that it's an event that we have time to prepare for. And then secondly,
Hmm.
the people who are on those events, like the speakers, they often talk about one subject. So our previous session was about legal, where we had both startups and scale-ups which work around the topic, but also had a legal experts coming in and explaining the European AI Act. And we had another company coming in explaining about the importance of data security in that setting. And so in that way, we both have qualitative sessions always around one theme, which yeah, really seems to spark and resonate with that community.
That's incredible. That's amazing. It's got so big now as well. And I guess it's only just going to keep growing because obviously generative AI is, well, like as you said, it's booming. And it really is. It's just going to keep, I feel like with generative AI, it's one of those things that it's never going to get old and it's always going to have new things come out, to, to use and play with and create new things with. So that's, yeah, that's really incredible. Um, Thank you very much for everything today, Remy. It's been absolutely incredible having you on the pod, and really interested in hearing about In the Pocket. Um, if I ever need any AI needs, I'll be sure to come to you guys. Um, and yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Same for me. Thanks a lot for having me.
Anytime. Are there any big plans coming up or anything that you could talk about that you're looking forward to in the near future for In the Pocket?
I would say if I can use a platform, we're always hiring, especially if there are some good ML engineers listening to this podcast and also resonating with the idea of being very close to clients. Then always happy to link.
Amazing. That's incredible. Well, thank you very much for that, and thank you for joining. And yeah, good luck with everything in the future. Take care. Bye,
See you,
Remy.
Eddie. Bye bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Vision to Venture. If you're listening, make sure to give us a 5-star review. And if you're watching, like and subscribe to listen to more inspiring stories from leaders in the tech space.